Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is somebody that is really awesome. I just can't, speak highly enough about this person because they are a really nice person and they have some really awesome cosplays, and I can't wait to get into this interview. And joining me today is Starrdustss. Starrdustss, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing really, really good. I'm so excited for this. I've never done something like this before, so this is like really cool.
Hey, that's awesome. And that is not the first time that I have heard that. And that's why I have Who's That Cosplayer, because, so many of your followers, they see the TikTok videos, they see the photos on Instagram, but they really don't know who you are. So that's the reason why I do Who's That Cosplayer. So thank you so much for joining me. Are you ready to get into today's interview?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so ready.
Awesome. So before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview. So Starrdustss, the first question that I ask each and every guest up here is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one, so tell everybody who you are.
So my name is Mila. I'm more commonly known on the internet as Miles or Starrdustss. I have been cosplaying for probably close to 11 years.
Nice.
Yeah, it's insane. It feels like a lot longer. I am based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I bleed black and gold. Heinz ketchup is the best ketchup. I will not take any other criticism. I'm obviously a huge JoJo fan. I do like other things. But JoJo's like my main thing. And I don't know, I started on Vine actually, and I was on there. I know.
And now to the youngins that's watching, tell everybody, what is Vine?
Oh my God. So Vine was like TikTok, but you had 7 seconds only to make videos. So it was like crazy. And I mean, like some of the funniest videos that you'll see on the internet are from Vine. So you had 7 seconds to make content. And when I ended up downloading Musical.ly, which was what TikTok was before they switched over, it was like insane to me. I was like, I get 15 seconds. Wow. And then TikTok gave you 60 seconds. Now I have 3 minutes.
Got 3
I was
minutes.
like, this is insane. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I was so used to cramming all of my content into like a chunk of 7 seconds. So yeah, all the funny jokes that a lot of people repost on TikTok are originally from Vine.
Of
so
course, yeah.
Of
course. Vine or YouTube,
yeah.
I know that there's videos on TikTok where it's like I'll hear something and I'm just like, man, that's old. And
yeah,
of course, I mean, stuff that's old, it still works today, especially with stuff like TikTok where you can just upload the audio and you can cosplay whatever character you want to do. And some of the TikToks are funny, not TikToks, but some of the audio sounds are funny and they go along with whatever character you're cosplaying. But then some of them are just and it was the same thing with Vine back in the day, because like you said, you had 7 seconds to put a video up and either it was going to be hit or it was going to be missed. And I mean, now TikTok, you have 3 minutes, soon we'll get 10 minutes.
Vine was really hard too, because I remember it was really hard to upload audios to Vine. It was really hard to find audios. It was hard to upload them. I have no idea. I've been on TikTok for a couple of years. I have no idea how to upload audios. If anyone wants to tell me how, please let me know, because I have no idea. But that was what made it hard. So even you have access to so many things on TikTok. I don't know. TikTok's great. Yeah, I love TikTok. It has its moments. I'm not gonna lie, but
I agree.
It's fine.
But no, I 100% agree with you on that. And I'm sorry that we kind of snowballed. That's something that we do up here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. But you can go back to your origin story. So you were on Vine and then continue after that.
So yeah, I started on Vine. Once Vine had shut down, I transferred over to posting on Musical.ly, which is what TikTok was originally. And I did that for a little bit, and then I kind of stopped. And I took a really long span of time where I wasn't cosplaying anymore when I was in high school. I just wasn't interested in it. I think like my last big cosplay was Junko Enoshima in like 2016, 2017. Then I went to college and I wasn't able to cosplay at all. Junko was also the first cosplay I ever bought in my life. Growing up, I was not allowed to go to cons. I wasn't allowed to buy cosplays. I dubbed myself like the CEO of closet cosplaying because that was all I knew how to do. I had I had one wig that I used for everything, and people who have known me for a while know exactly which wig I'm talking about. I still have it. It has seen way better days. It was like a long blonde Amazon wig. I used to be into Hetalia. So like I bought it for that, but I used it for everything. And so like being an adult with adult money, I bought my first cosplay, which was Junko, and it was like game changing. It was life changing. I did, in fact, take the wig out of the bag, put it on my head, and went, this is good. This is going to be okay to post. Not styling it, like not even fitting it to my head, like nothing. Yeah. It's fine. I wore Junko once and then sold her because I didn't want to be her anymore. And then I stopped cosplaying for a good couple of years. Once COVID hit and we were in quarantine, I was like bored out of my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna get back into cosplaying. It's gonna be great. I think I started mostly making like Game Grumps content because that was like my thing before JoJo. I was known as Star Bombs instead of Starrdustss for quite some time. And so I was cosplaying like Danny Sexbang. That's funny. It's literally behind you. Danny Sexbang.
I didn't do that on purpose.
That's really just ironic. But I was cosplaying Danny Sexbang. I was doing Ninja Brian. I was doing Aaron Hansen, like the Game Gyaru versions of them. And like they took off like crazy because not a lot of people were making those kinds of videos. And people really liked Danny Sexbang for many reasons, most of which are why I don't do her anymore. So then like time had passed and everybody was like, cringe is dead. Let's cosplay things that we liked when we were 13. So I was cosplaying Hetalia for a bit, and I was like thinking to myself, this is really fun. Like I missed doing this stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get into anime again. I'm going to start watching anime. And so I watched Parasite over quarantine, I loved it. It was great.
That's a good anime. I watched it during quarantine as well. Really good.
Such a good anime. And so I watched that, and then with my previous partner, I was watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Another classic.
Yeah, and it was great. Never got to finish it. I'm so sorry. I never got to finish it because they took it off of Netflix.
Yeah, they did. But
January 1st.
Yeah, the live action movies are up there though, and I highly recommend everybody that's watching this, just don't watch it. If you love Full Metal Alchemist, don't watch it. I don't know if you watched the live action movie.
I haven't yet.
Don't watch. You're good.
Okay, good, cool. Like they just like Netflix was like, we were getting into it because we started watching it in like December of 2021, and it was like, yeah, it's getting taken off Netflix January 1st, and we were like, oh no, like we have weeks to finish this huge series. So we were trying to watch it every single day that he would come over my house, or I would go over his house, and I was also watching like Cowboy Bebop, which I love Cowboy Bebop. But it was really hard. And so December of 2021, he came over and he was like, hey, you want to take a break from Full Metal Alchemist? Let's watch something new. Let's watch something different. Do you want to watch JoJo?
I knew this is where it was going.
And I was like, oh, absolutely not.
What?
I know. Crazy, right?
No, it's not crazy. I was the same way when it first came out.
I was like, I don't want to watch JoJo. It's ugly. I don't like fighting anime. I'm not going to like it. None of that stuff. But what changed my mind, Stone Ocean had just dropped in December of 2021. And he was like, hey, there's a scene in Stone Ocean you might like. And I was like, oh? And it's the scene in like the first couple of episodes where Jolene has been first taken to Green Dolphin Street, and like the guards are like, hey, you gotta like be mean to them, you gotta intimidate them, and Jolene's like, oh, do you want me like on my hands and knees? And I was like,
God.
we're watching this show.
I had a feeling you was going there.
He was like, do you want to watch it? I was like, oh, we are watching this show immediately. I want to see that. And he was like, great, we have to start at the beginning. There's 6 parts. And I was like, there's 6 parts?
Oh, mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, we completely, and nobody come for me for this. I did go back and watch it. We didn't start with Phantom Blood. We skipped it completely. He was like, it's not important. We don't need to watch it.
What?
And I was like, okay. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I went back and watched it. I swear. Nobody come for me. Everybody's like, oh my God, Miles, you're the worst. We started with Battle Tendency, and it was great. I loved it. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I knew Bloody Stream because that's like a very iconic anime opening.
Yeah.
And like that was so much fun. I loved it. And I was like, I love Joseph. I love him so much. He's still my favorite JoJo. I loved Caesar. I loved the Pillarmen, except I only got to meet Santana because right after you meet Santana and like Stroheim dies and all that stuff, that's when we stopped watching. He was like, we're gonna move on to the next part. And I was like,
hey, it's just like, why did he want to skip? You can't skip. You have to.
I don't know. I was like, there's like 10 more parts to go.
Yeah.
So we skipped to Stardust Crusaders and we started watching that, and I was like, oh, I know who Jotaro is. Like, any idiot knows who Jotaro is. He's iconic. And I was like, is this the part with Dio in it? And he was like, yeah, that's the part. I was like, oh, cool, I know who that is. Because during quarantine, I think it's like the video's titled like JoJo's Dangerous Adventure. It's like that silly like music video. That audio was like going around on TikTok for a while. Mm-hmm. And I used it, and I did JoJo makeup during quarantine. I was like, I don't know what JoJo is, but I'm gonna try the makeup. Little did I know, like 2 years later, we're in deep
history.
So I started watching Stardust Crusaders, and we only got up to episode, I don't even know what episode it is, but it's the episode you meet Polnareff for the first time, and then we stopped watching.
Okay, yeah, I think that's probably like episode 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6, something like that. Because I know the most important episode, and my friend Ash is gonna love this. Ash is Virtual Blueberry on Twitter. I love her dearly. She loves Whole Horse. I love Whole Horse. We all love Whole Horse. Episode 10 is Whole Horse's episode. I know that for a fact. That's like in my brain. But we got up to the episode you meet Polnareff, and then we stopped watching, and then we broke up. So I was like, well, I gotta go all the way to the beginning because I've missed a lot.
Yes. And, and also too, I'm sorry to cut you off. Yeah. I'm glad that the breakup didn't stop you from watching something, because you know, like sometimes like you're talking to somebody and it's just like, I don't want to watch that anymore because it makes me think about them. And it's just like, I'm glad that you were just like, no, you know what? I'm going to start from the beginning. And now here we are. Now
I was like, you're not deterring me from this. So like I dropped everything. I went back. I watched the entirety of Phantom Blood. And even though I had seen like the second JoJo and the third JoJo, I was like, but Jonathan's like the JoJo. Like, how do we keep going if he's not alive? I'm confused.
It's so crazy.
It all made sense. And I was like, oh, Dio's like from the beginning. Like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I got to part 2 and I watched the rest of part 2 and I got my first, oh my God, I love this character. I love them so much. I really, really enjoy their story. And then you get to the episode where it's like, oh God, we've got a lot of backstory. What's going on? And then they die, which is so unfortunate. I was so upset with Caesar.
Same. I was
so upset. Because I was like, oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen. So I started watching Stardust Crusaders in April of this past year. Right before I graduated college. I finished Stardust Crusaders in the span of 2 weeks, which is like a lot of time because I kind of was like, I was trying to cram, but I was also trying to graduate. And in that span of time, I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love this show. I think I got like halfway through and I was like, I'm ordering a Kakyoin cosplay. I don't even care. I ordered like the wig, like this outfit, like immediately.
It looks good.
Thank you.
It. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm mad I'm not cosplaying as Jotaro right now because I'd be like Kakyoin.
We'd be friends. It'd be a reunion.
It's funny that you're actually cosplayed as Kakyoin because when I was at Incredible Con, my friend Mar, they cosplayed as Jolene. And I was just like, yeah, Jolene. And I don't know if you know this, and I don't know if any of the viewers know this, but there is a manga / anime that's out where Jotaro and Kakyoin they're married. And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm sure you heard the audio where it's just like, Kathleen, how did you lay this
laid
egg?
this egg?
Yeah, and Mar was just like, hold on, did you cheat on Mom? And I was just like, look, I just want to let you know that your Uncle Kathleen, we're more than just friends. I
have my little like Jotaro Kakyoin bracelets on.
Nice.
I bought these at Teco. I didn't have enough. I was already buying like 10 other bracelets, so I didn't have enough for Avdol or Polnareff, but shout out to 707's shop. These are the best ever. I love these so much. I wear these every day. Yeah, I know exactly. I know who Joda Kujo is. I've seen.
There are so many people that did, because I remember I had put a post on Facebook in the JoJo group, and they was just like, "Is this real?" And I'm just like, "It's real, but it's not canon. It is. It's not canon, but it's real."
It's so close to. It's that's like one of my favorite things. It's so funny. Mm-hmm. It was so funny. Yeah. I mean, I watched Stardust Crusaders. I got attached to Kakyoin. I was like, I love him so much. And my one friend was like, ooh, yeah, you don't know what happens, do you? And I was like, no. What are you talking about? And I was so disappointed.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy.
Disappointed. I cried.
It's crazy.
I cried.
The first time I watched Stardust Crusaders, it was the episode where Kakyoin died. And I was just like, because again, when I started watching it, I was just like, well, which one is JoJo? Like, I thought it was like Doctor Who, where it was just like a JoJo kept on coming back every time. And the first episode I see of Stardust Crusaders on Adult Swim, Kakyoin is dead. Joseph just got taken out by Dio, and then Jotaro's walking towards him. I'm just like, dang, man, this dude Dio's a badass. Like, is this the first episode or what? But I wanted to ask you, because we're talking about JoJo and whatnot, like, which part is your favorite part?
Who's that cosplayer?
Arcade Jade.
Oh my gosh, Stardust Crusaders.
Okay, all right. The Dragon Ball Z of JoJo. All right.
I don't know what it is. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's so long and there's so many of those like filler episodes, but like I loved it. I loved seeing like the dumb, just like, oh no, look at this random person that's gonna attack us. Like Dio sending like the dumbest people. Like I think one of my favorite arcs in all of Stardust Crusaders is the Death 13 arc.
Yeah,
because it was really funny.
It's so funny. I feel like Joseph Joe starring you, because it's like, I want to be like, well, was your favorite part where they had the baby at? And then you just went ahead and said, well, yeah, like my favorite part is Death 13. That's crazy. But no, continue. I'm sorry.
Like, it's not even just because I love Kakyoin. I just liked the logistics of like thinking it through. Like, wow, Dio like hired a baby. He hired a baby out of all these things. Like
a baby and an orangutan.
An
orangutan. Like, come on.
When I'm like, I mean, I watched JoJo's entirely in sub. I watched Stardust Crusaders in dub a couple episodes because I was like, oh my god, Matthew Mercer, that's amazing. I love him. But I was like, I have to watch it in sub because I knew the jokes. I knew like the dedo joke because like everybody knows that. And everything. But like Kyle Hebbert's like, I really don't care that you're a baby. I'll snap your neck like a twig. Made me laugh so hard. That was like, that's my favorite. That has to be my favorite. And obviously, I absolutely love Whole Horse and Boingo. That is like, I love Whole Horse so much. It's like not even funny.
No,
it's a very close second for me.
Yeah, and your Whole Horse cosplay is an amazing cosplay too. And I just wanted to say, everybody that's watching, we actually interviewed Kyle Hebert, and you can either listen to that interview on our podcast or you can watch the video. It is up here on YouTube. I gotta plug the episode.
He's such a cool guy.
He is really nice. I mean, like, he voices Gohan and then he voices Kakyoin. So it's like, it's really awesome. And then he does so many more incredible characters. So, I wanted to ask you now, because we've been talking about JoJo and everything. Usually I save the JoJo stuff towards the end, but I want to go back to, you had mentioned you went to your first con, and I just want to know, like, how was that experience? Like, you've been cosplaying all this time and whatnot, and it's just like, now I can go to this con, I can have fun, I can meet people. Like, what was that like?
So I went to Techo, which is in Pittsburgh. And I had wanted to go to Techo since I was like 13. So this has been like a 10-year thing going on. And when I finally bought the ticket, I was like, oh my God, I'm finally going. Like, this is amazing. And so I went the first day as Kakyoin because that was the JoJo meetup day. I didn't know if I wanted to be Kakyoin or Narancia that day. And I'm glad that I chose Kakyoin because I was the only Kakyoin in the entire group, which is like, I like when there's other people who are dressed like me because it's kind of funny. There was like 10 Jolenes and it was really, really funny. There was 10 Jolenes in like one 6-Taro, and it was like really funny. It was my friend Lucas. I
love that.
I love talking about my friends. I love my friends.
And that's a good name. I love that.
I love to like shout out my friends. I just love my friends. But it was great. I loved it. My like first day experience was like, not even joking, a very bizarre experience. Like when I walked in, I didn't pre-register. I had to wait in line, and I was waiting in line, and I was in Kakyoin, and I was like on my phone, and like my phone has like little cherries on it and everything. I'm crazy. I love him. And I was in line. I was like ready to get my badge, and I hear this lady like yell across the room. She's like, "Oh my God, Kakyoin, Lero!" And I was like, "Oh no, like not already." And her like little daughter, she could not have been more than like 5 years old, was like, "Kakyoin, I love you." And I was like, "You should not know who I am. You should not know what this show is."
Yo, that is something that I always be wondering. I'm just like, kids shouldn't be watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but
No.
I see so many parents like, "Oh yeah, my kid watches JoJo." I'm like, they do?
You shouldn't. There was moments that made me uncomfortable, and like I'm in my 20s, like that's yikes. So that was like interesting, and then I got to meet some of my friends and my mutuals, like Verona's Roses, Gabby, Saturn's Jupiter, Jesse. I got to meet them. That was like awesome. I was like, you guys are so cool. This is amazing. And like we're all the same age, and I felt weird about being like, I'm so starstruck, but like I had been mutuals with these people for so long, and I was like, you're real, you're a person, that's amazing. Within like the first 2 hours of the con, I lost both of these earrings.
Oh no.
And I was on my hands and knees like on the floor like trying to find them, and I heard like one of the con volunteers being like, "Kakyoin, is this yours?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Yeah, I saw it." And I was like, "Ooh, a Kakyoin died here." And I was like, again. And then my favorite thing happened that day. There was a JoJo panel later in the day, and we had like so much time to kill. So me and my friends were like, you know what? We're going to go to the lip sync because it's probably fun. And there's probably a lot of people there. So we're going to go watch. Did not plan on participating at all. Just wanted to go watch. But we got there and they were talking about it. And we saw them like do the example of like, this is what you want to do. And then they asked if anybody wanted to come up and do it for the first round, which was to Love is an Open Door from Frozen. So I raised my hand and Gabby raised her hand. So I was like, all right, cool. Guess we're doing it. So Gabby was Anase and I was Kakyoin. So we did Love is an Open Door, and that was great. And I won that against Gabby. Gabby, I'm so sorry. But I won. And then we watched like, I mean, I can't help it. I am the champion a little bit, you know. That's spoiler. Don't get to that. We kept going, and they did like running up that hill. Like Jessie won that round, I'm pretty sure, as Jolene. That was great. I saw an Eddie Munson cosplayer do Nail, Hair, Hips, Heels by Todrick Hall, and that made my day. My one friend did Bloody Stream. It was like great. So the last round was We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I know this song.
Hold on real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because I haven't done this up here in a while. But would you mind singing We Don't Talk About Bruno with me?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So let's start this off. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
We don't talk about Bruno. No. We don't talk about Bruno. But it was my wedding day.
It was our wedding day.
We were getting married and there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
No clouds allowed in the sky.
Bruno walks in with a mischievous grin.
Thunder.
You telling the story or am I?
I'm sorry, maybe there go.
Bruno says it looks like rain.
What did he tell us?
In doing so, he floods my brain.
And Billy, get the umbrella.
Married in a hurricane.
What a joyous day, but anyway.
We don't talk about Bruno. No, no, no.
No. We
We
don't
don't
talk
talk
about
about Bruno.
Bruno. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. I love
Thank
when we
you.
can sing We Don't Talk About Bruno. And then, of course, I'm a Turning Red fan. I love Forward
Oh,
Town.
me too.
Forward Town for life. And we could be singing all night, honestly.
Oh, true.
But no, continue telling the story. I'm sorry, we snowballed.
I'm glad I got to use my theater degree. I never use it anymore. So
Hey, see, you never know. You never know what's gonna happen.
But we don't talk about Bruno, and I was like, oh, I know how to do it. And the judges picked the people for this one. And I got picked, and I went up against a 12-year-old little girl who was cosplaying. I don't know what she was cosplaying from My Hero Academia. I'm not familiar with the show, but we shook hands. Maybe. I don't really know the characters that well, to be honest.
What does she look like? If you remember.
I believe it was the little girl who has the long silver
White
hair.
Yeah, Airy. See?
Okay.
I just did another joke star. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
That's crazy. We were talking, and they were explaining what the prizes were, and they were like, second place gets a Starbucks gift card. First place gets a free badge for next year. And I turned to the little girl and I said, I'm so sorry, but I'm winning. I hate to break it to you. And she was like, I can do gymnastics. And I was like, that's really cute, but can you work a stage? So we did it. Somebody has the video. I don't know. I don't have it, but it exists somewhere. It was really fun. It was really funny. I looked up at one point and there had to have been 300 people watching, which was horrifying. But I won. So I get to go to Techo next year for free. And I was like, this is my first convention literally ever. So that's really exciting for me. And the little girl was just happy that she got a Starbucks card. She was doing flips and tricks. And I was like, no, girl, you have to work the room. I tried. I don't even remember what I did. I was trying really hard to emulate Bruno Bucciarati with zippers, but I was like, it's not translating. It's Kakyoin. We got to make Kakyoin jokes. So I did a lot of the donut jokes because it's funny if I make the joke. It's only funny if I do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And people loved it. It was fun. It was great. That made me. I rode a high the rest of that day because people were like, "Oh, you were the Kakyoin that won the lip sync," and I was like, "Yeah, that was me. That would be me. Correct." Yeah, so crazy.
I love that, and it's funny that you had did the contest and you ended up winning. And something I wanted to piggyback off of was something that you had mentioned earlier about being the only Kakyoin at the con. I always think that it's cool because usually I'm either right now I'm part 6 Jotaro because that's the part that's popular right now. Mm-hmm. But I really love cosplaying as part 4 Jotaro because part 4 is my favorite part. And I love when you go to a con and there's nobody else cosplaying that character. And it's of course, I love cosplaying as Midoriya, Deku, that's my favorite character from My Hero Academia. But you see a lot of Dekus at con. Mm-hmm. You don't see a lot of Jotaro. Whenever I go to con, I might see one Jotaro, but a lot of times you see other characters from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So that's why I just love being Jotaro. And I think I'm just gonna keep on being Jotaro because people love my Jotaro. You do the pose, that's all people want to see and whatnot.
I think.
Go ahead.
That whole con, I met 3 Jotaros. That was it. I met my friend Lucas, who was 6 Taro, and then I had 2 other people I had met. One of which is my friend Taylor, who did female 3 Taro with her family as Dio and Joseph. I met a couple of Josephs. But it was a lot, and it's usually a lot of Golden Wind. And I was like, you know what? That's fair. That's a good part. Yeah. I think in our JoJo meetup, there was only 2 part 4 cosplayers. It was a Yukako and a Rohan. And I was like, that's crazy.
And see, that's what I was going to say too. Whenever I see part 4 cosplayers, it's always Yukako or Rohan. I never see part 4 Jotaro. I see part 3 Jotaros all the time. And that's the reason why I didn't get that cosplay because the white and purple is just fire. I love this outfit in part 4, but you're right. Every time you go to a con and you see JoJo cosplayers, it's usually always Golden Wind.
There was a lot of in our JoJo meetup, there was a lot of Golden Wind. there was like 10 Jolines and a singular Poochie and a couple Anasuis. It was really funny. I think they all took a picture of them like beating the Poochie. It was like, it was great.
Of course.
There was no part 8. I felt so bad. Like not a singular part 8 cosplayer. There was a Yasuho walking around, but I don't think they made it to the meetup, which is like totally fine. There was a couple Steel Ball Run. But like biggest parts were like, I don't think there was one part 1 cosplayer. It was a Speedwagon cosplayer. And we were all like, that's amazing. But I loved being the only Kakyoin because like everybody was like, oh, it's Kakyoin, it's Kakyoin. And there was a Holly. So this is the best day of my life, personally. I got to hold like the family portrait of like her and Jotaro. And then they took like, you know, serious photos. And I was like in the middle of the Jotaros. And then they took like a silly picture, and I'm pretty sure it's a picture of me like grabbing my stomach, and I watched everybody go, no! Or like they took a Joe Bros photo, and it was a lot of like Brunos and Mistas and Aranchas and me. And then they did like a silly picture, and we all died. And I laid flat against the ground. It was it's really funny. It's just a picture full of dead people.
That's funny, man. So, you know, we're getting close to the end of the interview, and you know, it is the spooky season.
Oh,
so,
yes.
You know, it's like I love Halloween.
Me too.
I love October because of all of the cool things that you can do in October. So I want to know, like, 2 questions for you. Mm-hmm. One, what is your favorite horror movie that, you know, just scares you? Like, it could be something recent, it can be something older, but what is that movie that just makes you go, scared?
Oh, God. See, I don't really like horror because I don't like being scared. It freaks me out. I think, like, honestly, I hate clowns. I hate clowns a lot. And I've seen the original Stephen King's It, and that didn't scare me half as bad as the more recent one because it was, like, newer and CGI has gotten a lot better, and that just, like, made my skin crawl. I can't watch it much anymore. It's a great movie. One of my friends loves it a lot. Cat's like gonna kill me for saying that I don't love it, but like it just, I don't like clowns. I don't like the things that he can do with his eyes. I don't like it.
And that little dance that he does.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Oh man, this funny. And again, I'm just gonna say I was gonna pull another Joseph Joestar, and I was gonna say is it clowns, and it was. So I mean, not clowns. I was gonna say is it, and it was it. So yeah, there we go. So now I gotta know, like, what do you like to do to celebrate the spooky season?
I mean, as a cosplayer, obviously, I really like to dress up. I've loved dressing up my entire life. So being a cosplayer is just like, oh, it's just more days I can dress up and do whatever. Like, I definitely plan this year making a ton of TikToks. I'm gonna be using my fake blood a lot. You know, I'm going to kill a bunch of characters. It's going to be great. People are not excited about it. I don't know. I just kind of like, I like watching like Halloween themed movies. Hocus Pocus is my favorite.
Nice.
I just kind of like enjoying the spooky season. I might go to like a haunted house or 2, like Scare Houses in Pittsburgh, which is a really popular haunted house, and it's really good. Probably going to go there. I don't know. Like I just like to enjoy the ambiance of spooky season, and I kind of I celebrate Halloween all year round. I'm one of those people that's like Halloween is a feeling, not a season.
I feel you on that. I have a friend that's like that, where it's like whenever you go into her place, like she keeps her Halloween stuff up all year round. So it's like I totally understand that.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, like, it's the spooky season, and I just love saying spooky season.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're here at the end of the interview. Thank you so much for coming up here and joining me on a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? So, before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
You can find me on most social medias at Starrdustss. If you're looking on TikTok, it's just Starrdustss with 2 R's and 2 S's. On Instagram, it has an underscore after it. I also have an art account at irl.noriaki. That's where I am. You can find me there. I make lots of JoJo content. You like JoJo? We're going to get along very, very well.
Awesome. I love that. And you guys, y'all know y'all can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, Stardust, for joining me up here.
Thank
y'all make sure that
you.
y'all go and follow her on all of her social media accounts. Y'all make sure that y'all stay tuned because we have some more amazing interviews coming up during the spooky season. Make sure you check out our podcast where we have brand new episodes every Tuesday. The link is down below in the description. And then the video of that episode is up here on YouTube on Friday. So with that being said, keep that pinky up, stay safe this season, and we'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.